Welcome to Kelly Minds Her Manners, a podcast about real estate and entrepreneurship with a twist. Here's your host, Kelly Robinson.
Welcome to another episode of Kelly Minds Her Manners. I have Nasir Cook today. Nasir is a Division I defensive back on Princeton's football team. He is a star athlete. He was also a letterman in high school, in not only in football, but in track. He comes from Nashville, Tennessee area. His parents were in law enforcement and education and instilled wonderful values in Nasir. And before his sophomore year in college, Nasir actually founded a very successful not-for-profit organization called the Nashville Youth Initiative. And the Nashville Youth Initiative has been a resounding success with nearly 60 young participants benefiting from the program's empowering experiences in just the second year. The primary goal of NYI is to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the urban community, fostering mutual understanding, inclusion, and diversity. Nasir's vision for the future includes expanding NYI's reach to other cities, spreading its meaningful mission to even more young individuals, and seeking positive change. He also wants to create a curriculum for law enforcement agencies, and you'll hear him talk more about that. I can't wait for you to hear who his role models are, who he'd like to have dinner with if he could choose one person, dead or alive, and the rest of his answers to my Fearless 5. You can also look in the show notes. You can follow Nasir on Instagram. You can follow NYI on Instagram. You can donate to NYI or dedicate your time to helping NYI. It's a great cause, and Nasir has such a bright future ahead. Please welcome Nasir Cook. So welcome to Kelly Minds Her Manners. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on my show today. I'm really excited to interview you and share your story with all of our listeners and watchers. So I like to start from the beginning, right? I really like to hear people's story and share it with the world. You have been quite successful at so many things, and I like to hear about how it all started from childhood. And you were lucky enough to come from a really nurturing home with two parents who inspired you and instilled great values in you, and the importance of determination and hard work, right? That came from your parents. So did that come from observation? Did it come from maybe affirmations, or did it come from lessons and them talking to you about it?
I'm in this position right now because of my parents. They did a great job parenting me, whether it be through affirmations, lessons, life lessons, giving me advice. I just try and follow in their footsteps because I owe it all to them. They're great. They're great. Lessons wise, it all started. My dad was my little league coach. So just seeing him, how he interacts with my friends, how he coached me up. That's also how I got into sports, mainly into football. I played baseball, basketball when I was younger, but seeing him lead by example, coach. And then my mom was the team mom of the team. So she was handling water balloon fights, at the end of the year banquets, things like that. They were just great parents. They coached me up. And the main thing they did was put me in the right positions to succeed in life. I went to Good Pasture Christian School from preschool all the way up to 7th grade. And I thought that's where I was going to be all the way up until high school. And my childhood friends that I've known since 3. But then my dad and my mom, they decided to switch me to Montgomery Bell Academy, which is an all-boys high school near Vanderbilt. That was just a great opportunity for me. It's really prestigious high school, academics as well as football. And at the time, I was kind of apprehensive. I didn't really want to leave my friends. Looking back on it at high school, they say it's a college preparatory high school, and it really prepared me for later on in life going into college and put me on the right trajectory going forward. But yeah, I owe everything to my parents for sure. They put me in the places to succeed in life.
I love that. And you grew up in Tennessee, right? In Nashville?
Yeah, I grew up in Tennessee. Mainly Madison, Tennessee is where I live, which was maybe 15 minutes outside the Nashville area. And then going into my senior year, I just moved to Gallatin, Tennessee, which is maybe 25, 30 minutes out. My high school was literally right in the mix of Nashville, Nissan Stadium, maybe 10 minutes away from Vanderbilt. But yeah.
Nice. And your dad played football in Tennessee, right, in college?
Right. Yeah. He played at Tennessee State University, and that's where he met my mom. He was a running back and cornerback there. Yeah.
Okay. So your parents met in college. That's awesome. And your mom was in law enforcement, and your father was in education, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I remember going over with my mom to like Davidson County Sheriff's Office. In the summer, I would go with her over there, and I would know all the people that work with her, just sitting in her office, watching her do her thing. Maybe I have my iPad or something playing on games on there. I started to get more comfortable with seeing kind of like the jails and all that, people in uniform, people in officers. I think growing up, now that I think about it more, that I started getting a little more comfortable with that. You're always, as a kid or an adult, especially being African-American in this country, you're a little apprehensive whenever you see police officers uniform. But I think looking back on it now, I'm thinking about it. I think growing up in that kind of culture, I'm definitely, I would say, less apprehensive. You said.
Yeah. And your mom was actually the one who encouraged you to play football when you were 6, right? And you were hesitant.
Exactly.
But you became passionate about it. So what was it that made you passionate about football?
I like to start off with that little story. So when I was 5 years old, my dad put me out there and wanted me to play football. And after the first practice, I was like, I don't want to play. I don't want to do this anymore. And then fast forward to the next year when I'm like 6 or 7, my dad's helping his friend coach at this Little League team. I was with him, and I actually started playing with the kids. We didn't have any pads or helmets on. I just started backpedaling, running around with the kids out there that were supposed to be on the team. My dad was actually coaching an older set of kids, and I was with the younger group, my age group. But my mom was there to pick me up, and she was watching me run around, backpedal, juking the kids out. And then we ended up going to eat afterwards. She ended up telling me, "Yeah, you're playing football. I don't care what you think, this, that, and the third." She ended up forcing me into it or everything. But after that first year, we won a little league championship. I enjoyed it ever since. Why do I enjoy football? Just growing up, just watching. My dad, of course, was a football player. I think the competitive aspect, if you get to know me, I'm really competitive, and I want to win. I was always the fastest guy in middle school, kind of a little bit in high school. I enjoyed competing, and then I also enjoyed winning as well. So most of my friends were athletes, and they were also on the football team. So it was a great way to build connections, especially at Princeton, where going up to New Jersey, I had no clue who anybody was. Yeah. I'd never even been to New Jersey. I'm from the South. And it's funny to tell people, I couldn't imagine actually just going to school and not knowing anybody, because whenever I walk into a dining hall at Princeton, I see one of my teammates there, and I can just go sit down. It's like a safety valve. Yeah. I can just go sit down, chat up, talk with them. The bonds, the brotherhoods, the friendships I've built in high school and in college, they've just been phenomenal. So that's why I really enjoy football. But
yeah, absolutely. What do you think was your hesitation after that first practice when you were 5?
Put on the helmet, pads and everything, and then you want me to run into some other kid and all that. And then the coach was just yelling, and I was like, I don't know why you're yelling about us running into something. I just didn't get the importance. I think I was a little bit too young as well. I think that's what it was.
So as a young child, you embraced something that you were either hesitant about or maybe had some underlying fear about. It ended up becoming a passion for you. Do you think that experience has led you to become more fearless and try new things more often that you might not have tried otherwise?
Yeah, I definitely think that experience I like to think of myself as a risk taker. Also, my parents, everybody thinks, my friends, they definitely would say I like to take risks. I think it's kind of built into my DNA. I want to be the very best at something. Even though I might not be good at it, I'll try and read up on it or try my best, work hard at it. Even football, now I'm on defense and everything, but you're literally running full speed trying to tackle someone. So I feel like sports in general make you fearless, make you handle pressure pretty well. Sports has definitely been a vehicle for me to pursue other opportunities.
And you're also very dedicated when it comes to your academics. And it's hard when you are playing Division I football or even high school football,
right,
and track, because I know you were a football letterman and a track letterman.
Right.
In high school, right? So it's hard to juggle all of that and still excel in school. So how do you manage to do it all?
To start off with, academics was always an important part of my upbringing. I remember my dad checking report cards, grades as they come in. It's a funny story. He will never let me live this down. But in first grade, I was a little kid. I saw I got a D or C or some paper, and I was like, I don't like this number. It's not high enough. So I threw it away in the trash can. And then a couple of weeks go by, and I guess you're supposed to put it like in a little planner or whatever, that what your grades are, show your parents. And he was like, why did your grade go down? Where's this paper or this assignment? I was like, I told him I threw it away. I didn't like it. He was like, you can't do that. You got to own up to your mistakes, figure out what you're doing better. And yeah, academics has always been a big part of my life and taking it serious. And also, I like to always have one friend in that class. We try and push each other, help each other out and all of that. Make sure we're good. And it's that competition aspect. Oh, you got a 98. I'm going to try and get a 99, 100 on this paper. It's always been big. But to balance it with sports and football, I think my high school, Montgomery Bell Academy, helped me a lot with that. It was an all boys high school. We had a pretty strict routine where I would get there at 7:50 a.m., go to classes until 3:10. Get out of class, go straight into practice. And it really makes you don't have a lot of free time. So it makes you use that free time to do your homework, everything. And it makes you learn time management skills over time. When you're a senior, it's routine, clockwork, you're in the rhythm. And it's the same way at Princeton in college. And the funny thing is, I found that you have more time in college, more free time and stuff. Of course, practice is 4:45 to 6, and you may only have one or two classes that day. It's not from 7:50 a.m. to 3:10 p.m. So me figuring out that groove and figuring out I actually have more free time to do more stuff. Now, of course, the work is harder, but you can set that schedule. It's not everything is set up for you, routine, day in, day out. So.
Yeah, there are also more distractions in college. Parties.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You play defensive back on Princeton's football team, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
Okay. That's awesome. Right. The summer after junior year,
you
started the Nashville Youth Initiative.
Last summer. So my summer going into my sophomore year.
Wow. So you started it last summer and it's already grown to be quite big for just being started.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So what inspired you to create a not-for-profit youth organization?
My dad he used to work with, I think it was called like group homes. It might have been called youth villages. So he was always in the nonprofit sector. And he was talking to me and telling me maybe we should start a nonprofit. I saw on the Princeton website, it's the Bogle Fellowship in Civic Service. And they would pretty much help you start or fund a nonprofit organization. Or what usually happens is that you find a nonprofit organization and you partner with it and you help grow it. But I was like, I wonder if I can just start my own nonprofit organization from scratch. And I proposed to him. I gave him a timeline of what I was trying to do and had to come up with a name, mission statement, all of that. And then they were like, yeah, we'll agree to do it. This seems great. This is amazing. Last summer, I had summer camps throughout that time. And it was only around maybe 20, 25 kids that came, but it was good. It was a great experience. I had to file for the 501c3 as well. And one of my good friends, his dad actually helped me figure out all the legal work. But that first year running the organization was very eye-opening because it was new to me. The reason why I wanted to start it is because growing up, my dad was education. He was coaching. My mom was in the sheriff's office and the kind of law enforcement area. My dad also some stories. He also used to throw newspapers for the Tennessean, and it would be late hours. And he was driving around a couple of times, and he would always get pulled over at late hours. And the police officers were asked, "What are you doing?" And then he also told me a story where I had just gotten the MBA. He had an MBA hat and his dashboard in the back, and he was driving around doing his job, and a police officer pulled him over. He was talking to him, kind of maybe giving him a hard time. And then he was like, what are you doing with that NBA hat in the bag? And then he told him his son goes to NBA. And then he's talking, and then the officer lightens and he's trying to talk to him. And he was like, how do I get my son in there? And I don't know. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It kind of opened my eyes that I'm really blessed to be in this opportunity to not only go to NBA, but then go to Princeton. I feel like I had to give back somehow. And I want kids in the Metro Nashville public school systems is where I get the kids that are in the camps. I want them to experience something different than where they're maybe brought up, or experience NBA's campus. Because I don't know if you've seen, I can show you after this. It looks like a college. The facilities there at my high school, the new building they built, I just want them to aspire for more, and also tell them that you don't have to use athletics. You can also, academics are also important to get you where you want to go.
So the Nashville Youth Initiative, I read all about it. I think it's brilliant. So what do you do that's so important about NYI?
Yeah, so the reason why I started it was because I wanted to have in the Nashville community to build positive relations with law enforcement as well as the urban youth in the area and everything. So my camps focus on kids who are middle school age, around that 9 to 13 age range. I take them to NBA, and we have, through athletics, education, and mentorship, I try and amend those relationships, make them feel ease at home with the police officers. And it's also a learning lesson for the police officers, some kind of diversity, equity, and inclusion training. And I want to branch into that as well, figure out a curriculum that makes police officers and police departments take diversity, equity, and inclusion more seriously. That's future down the road. But for the summer camps, I focus on athletics, of course. We play dodgeball, kickball, football. Kids love that. We focus on speech competitions and literacy. So I have them write the speeches. What would you do if you had $1 million? Or what is your dream job? Have them write it. The police officers help them write it. And then they have to give the speeches up front. It's great to hear what they have to say. And a lot of them are really nervous at first. And especially when you're younger, you have kids, you might not be from the same school, best friends. And when you have to give a speech, even if it's 5 or 10 people, it could be nerve wracking. It was great. It was great to hear everybody's speeches. I had little cash prizes at the end for them this year, and it turned out really well. So yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. So we will put the link to NYI in the show notes if anybody wants to get involved or donate. It is a 501(c), right? So you can donate to Nasir's organization and you can get a tax deduction. So go to the show notes and look it up, and even just to be inspired by everything that they're doing. How has it touched your life? Is there any specific story that you like to tell from NYI that's been really life-changing for you?
I'd say just the whole process in general. I never thought I would be a founder of a nonprofit organization, and then at this young age, be thrusted into a managing position of, okay, this is when I want to have the camp. Okay, I have to contact these principals to get the kids here. I have to contact the bus driver here so we can make sure we're all on the same schedule. So just figuring out, I always considered myself kind of a leader, but figuring out how to put everything together and then watching it bloom into fruition. It was only maybe 20, 25 kids last year that attended the camp. And this year we had 60 kids come through the camp. It was great. We were filled to the brim. I don't know. It's grown exponentially, and I'm excited for next year. I also want to have a winter camp, but I don't have a specific story, but just this whole process has been great for me, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure you've changed a lot of lives.
It's also just eye-opening as well, seeing the police officers interact with the kids. The first day, they're kind of, okay, there's a police officer right here. Okay, I'm kind of nervous. But then as the week goes on, the last day of camp, you see them open up. My goal, of course, is to build common experiences, have that joint relationship, and just watching it come to fruition. It was really special.
Absolutely. So where do you see NYI in 5 years?
Definitely, of course, the summer camps. I also want to have a winter camp as well, either this coming winter or the next winter, figuring out how all that'll play. Because I know the Metro Nashville Public Schools, they have winter break kind of different from Princeton, trying to figure all that out.
Yeah.
But I really want to branch into a sort of diversity, equity, and inclusion training that is mandatory for police departments to have. So I want to figure out how to pinpoint that, figure out what kind of training techniques we have for all that, and then put it into action. And also, of course, with the camps, I want to not only be for Nashville, but also say if I want to have one in Memphis or in Newark, it'll be Memphis Youth Initiative, Newark Youth Initiative. And I actually ended up filing the 501c3 under National Youth Initiative. So it could be all a branch. So that's thinking long term.
I love that. So this is the 5-year plan for NYI, and you have this vision of a curriculum for law enforcement, which I think is so important. Where do you see yourself personally in 5 years? Are you aspiring to go pro? Do you want to be full-time with this not-for-profit? Do you want to do both? Do you have another career path in mind? What are your dreams?
I just declared at Princeton, you have to declare your major, my sophomore spring. So I declared anthropology, law, politics, and economics track within that department. I'm going to try and get certificates or minors in entrepreneurship or African-American studies.
Awesome.
So I say that to say, I'm kind of all over the place. I still don't know what trajectory I want to go with. I really want to pursue, or maybe next summer for my internship, pursue a sports agency or entertainment agency and figure out if I want to become sports agent or a celebrity agent. Maybe look at CAA, Clutch Sports. I don't know what it would be, but I definitely want to pursue that because I know I have a lot of interest in that. So I would really like to do that for the nonprofit as well. I really want to build this, and I could also see myself building nonprofits, working in the nonprofit sector. Maybe I also want to get into politics later on. I don't think I want to make a career out of politics, but maybe later on, once I've established myself, I might want to do that route as well. But number one, maybe a general manager of a sports team. That's been my long-term goal since I was maybe 13. But some sort of sports management, nonprofit, or politics. But yeah.
Awesome. I love all of that. Now it's time for my Fearless 5.
Okay.
Where you get 5 questions and you get 2 passes. The first one is something that I ask everyone. It's a deep question, but I love to hear the different answers. So what is something that you think most other people value that you don't necessarily value or subscribe to, and why?
I think this day and age, a lot of people value social media as a whole, how many followers you have, how many likes you have. And I don't think I value that as much. I've never been a guy who always wanted to post this or that. And I really want to find someone, if anyone's out there, I want to find someone who's like social media guru that can help grow my nonprofit pages and everything. That would be great if somebody could do that. I've never been a big social media guy. I use Instagram mainly. I feel like a lot of people, their whole lives is on social media. They dedicate themselves to social media. They plan their day around it, live their life around it. Oftentimes it's the highlights of people's lives. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Totally.
So I definitely say that aspect.
I like that answer. Okay. If you could have dinner with any one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
It's funny. I just had this conversation with some of the people I'm working with for this internship I'm doing. The question was, if you could have dinner with 3 people, who would it be? And I said Barack Obama, Denzel Washington, and Kobe Bryant. And now I'm trying to think of which one 101.
Good choices.
I'd probably say Barack Obama. I'd have to go with Obama.
So Barack, why is he number 1?
When you think of those people who are definitely going to be in the history books, like a Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln, maybe a Malcolm X, I just feel like he's a living legend, a historical legend. I feel like it would be great to pick his brain, talk about his journey, not what everybody sees on camera, the uncut version. So I would think that would be great. So
yeah, I remember when he became president, and it was just so exciting. Yeah. Everybody was so excited. I was in New York City, and it was just, I feel like everybody, whether they voted for him or not, there was just this uplifting feeling because there was change and it was a first time for,
Exactly.
It was awesome.
Exactly.
Is there a quote or a saying that you play over and over again in your head or that inspires you in one way or another?
For my senior quote, when I saw this quote in 5th grade, I was like, this is going to be my senior quote. I ended up changing my senior quote to be, if you get to the top of the mountain, keep climbing. It was like a Zen proverb. I think I really liked that one.
Yeah.
I really like the quote from Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby. If you're not first, you're last, pretty much. That always just stuck in my head. Maybe competitor or anything. I know.
Yeah.
Talladega Nights is a crazy movie, but that always stuck with me.
Totally. Okay. So being from the Nashville area, you're subjected to a lot of music.
Right.
What's on your playlist? What do you listen to over and over again?
For country music, I actually didn't get into country music until I started getting homesick at Princeton and everything.
Aww.
I really like, for country music, I like Zach Bryan and Tyler Childers. I'm really, of course, big fan of rap. Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Drake, Nas, of course. Yeah, that's really the major artists are on my playlist. I don't like the underground rappers. I'm pretty mainstream when it comes to music. Rihanna, yeah.
Awesome. I love it. I like a whole variety of things too.
Yeah. Also, I have my playlist is 1,000-some songs. It's anything from Nirvana to Tupac.
Me too.
Yeah.
I listen to Tupac when I'm working out all the time.
Yeah,
I love Tupac.
Exactly. My mom's favorite is DMX. She listens to DMX when she works out.
Awesome. Okay. What's the last thing you Googled?
I looked up poker hierarchy.
Are you a poker player?
I'm not. I'm trying to learn a little bit. Some of the people, my friends, they've been playing, and I've been kind of out of the loop. So I downloaded this app, and I've been playing it, trying to figure it out. But that's what I looked up.
Awesome. So before we go, if a young kid from your not-for-profit came to you and said, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to start a not-for-profit, or what do you think the best advice you would give them would be?
I actually heard something from a person I was talking to, and he said, he started his own business. And he said that once you start something, a lot of people, you'll get a lot of support. A lot of people will come, oh, that's pretty hard to start your nonprofit or your business. Let me come help you. Let me do this. So I would tell them not to be scared to take that jump or anything. If it's something you're passionate about, if the mission is great, if people can get behind it, you can flourish in any sector or aspect that you want to be. I'd tell them, take the jump. If I can give you advice or help along the way or anything, but people will support you if the cause is great.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. You're definitely an inspiration. We're going to put your Instagram handles, your not-for-profit's Instagram handle, your website.
Okay,
and is there anything else that you want to share with the audience before we go?
If you're like a social media, you know what to do with all that, please let me know and contact me and everything.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and I enjoyed our interview.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for watching and listening to Kelly Minds Her Manners. Make sure to subscribe to the show and don't forget to leave us a review to tell us what you liked about the episode. You can connect with Kelly at Kelly Minds Her Manners on Instagram and TikTok or on our website, www.kellymindshermanners.com.